So strap in and get ready.
The leaders in AFL SuperCoach are incoming, helping you win your leagues and climb up the rankings.
You're now listening to the Insight AFL Show with your hosts, Big Horse and Skitty.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Insight AFL Show. I'm your host, the SuperCoach Horse, and with me again, we've done backs, we've done mids, we've done rucks. Now it's time to talk about the guys that set up our teams for success in the forward line. Deadly, welcome back.
Hey mate, how are we? This is the finale, the grand finale of the tier lists.
Yep.
Look, some might say forward isn't the most appealing position, and you're probably right. But at the same time, forward line can make or break your SuperCoach season, if you're being honest. And if you don't have the right ones, then you can be in trouble right from the get-go.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do today, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to rank the top 25 selected forwards in AFL SuperCoach, right from set and forget down through to potential keeper, value pick. The upside's there, but probably not. And Campbell Chesser. Yes, Campbell Chesser gets his very, very own category. Very esteemed company he might keep as well. But stay tuned to see who joins him in that category today. Before we start, like, subscribe, bell. Here at Insight, we call it being the triple banger. But also, if you're listening to us on audio, 5-star review. We would love that. It gets us out to the SuperCoach audience too, or for more people to hear our good quality content and banter. Deadly, we're going to get stuck in straight into the players today, mate. Starting with the number one player in our forward lines this year, and that's Caleb Daniel from the North Melbourne Footy Club. Talk to me about him.
Yeah, it's for bloody good reason. He's number one. He's going to be the main distributor off halfback for North Melbourne. And thank you, Bevo, for not playing this little man who rolls around in a headgear, because now we get him at a very juicy 269k in our forward line with midfielder DPP. Unfortunately, won't get defender as well. Imagine if he had all three. How good would that be? But at 269k, lock this guy in. He could well be set and forget in the role. I think he probably lands just in potential keeper though for now. But you know, if he's cracking on like he did back in the day, then he's set and forget at 269k. It's the most obvious pick you can make in your SuperCoach teams all season for any line.
Yep. Given his ability to play that role really well, we've seen that in the past with the Western Bulldogs, where he averaged over 90 consistently. I'm actually picking him to be a top 6 forward this year. So if you're trying to fade Caleb Daniel, it's a classic case of trying to outthink the room. You've just got to put him in. Just
pick him. Who cares if he's 100% owned and you're trying to, be pod? This isn't a guy you should anti-pod. You just have him for the price. He could make 300k go up to 500 very easily in the first couple of weeks even. He really is close to set and forget. He probably just lands a potential keeper just because there might be better options, but he's very close to the top tier at really low price.
Yeah. Our next player is Bailey Smith from the Geelong Footy Club. Now, a lot of people are high on Bailey Smith, Deadly. Forward status, tick, because we don't have a lot of forward options this year. New club with midfield opportunities, yeah.
Tick.
He's potentially about 20 points underpriced, you would say. Tick. Why am I not sold on him, though?
Because you just named some pros, but the cons probably outweigh it. When you think about, he's got the early buy. He's priced okay, but he's still not. It's not the greatest for a guy like him. Look, he has scoring potential in the past, but his disposal efficiency is just pretty shit, to be honest.
Yep.
He will get the ball at Geelong. He should have an inside mid role, but at the same time, he's also being used as a winger and potentially at half forward at times. And I probably would rather not start with him and have a look rather than start with him, get stuck in the buy when he's not averaging too much because his disposal efficiency is great and he's not in that main midfield position. The ACL also sort of worries me, but it's nothing too outrageous. He's not going to be fully prone to injuries like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're picking him, fair enough. He's probably a potential keeper. But for me, it's sort of just a wait and see for now.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy to put him in potential keeper.
Yeah. Yeah, he is potential keeper if you pick him for sure. But yeah, personally, I'm not starting with him. Just I would like to wait and see.
I think so. I think you're right. Next on our list, we've got 25 to get through, ladies and gentlemen, so we don't want to spend too long on each player, is Elijah Hewett. He's currently number 3 in the top 25 ranked forwards in SuperCoach so far. He showed a lot of spark in his first year in 2023. Before 24, he was ruled out for the year with a foot injury. He's back healthy now. He's put on some size. He's going to play midfield. He's at 119K. What's not to like?
Yeah, no, this is probably up there with the value pick of the year at the minute. At almost near on bottom dollar. He's going to have consistent game time in a pretty poor West Coast team. He'll get the ball. He'll get his touches. He'll have a decent average. You can probably play him on field as your F6 most weeks, and sell him off for a good profit later on. There's no real downside to him, honestly, at all, besides maybe the injuries. But he looks like he's well past them. He's fully healthy. They sort of could have brought him back towards the end of last year, but decided not to rush him and wait till this year. And I think that's going to work out in his favour. He's a perfect value pick for me.
So we're going with value for Elijah Hewett. Next, from the St Kilda Footy Club, Jack Macrae. How do you see this playing out, Deadly?
Well, there's a few different ways it could play out. And, well, there was a few different ways this could play out. I think with all the injuries that St Kilda have and what Ross Lyons showed us and how they want to use him this year, he's just going to be the inside mid, and he's going to be one of the main guys who touches the ball inside. He's an accumulator. We know that. He's scored great in the past. He has average of almost 120, I think, back in the day at the Western Bulldogs. Now he moves to a St Kilda side with opportunity, and I think at the price, 392K, he's probably set and forget, actually.
I agree. I think with the role that St Kilda are talking about that he's going to play, and we've seen how piggish he is with SuperCoach in the past in regards to scoring numbers, I think he has real potential to be a top 5 or even top 6 forward this year. So at potentially 150K underpriced, or maybe even more, he's definitely a set and forget for me.
Yeah, the opportunity is too good for him now. This is his real bounce back year. And once again, we'll thank you to Bevo. I don't know why you don't play these good players, but we'll take it.
Yep. Next on our list, mate, is one of only 2 Jasons in the AFL. And I'm not speaking about Jason Johannesson. I'm speaking about the man himself, Pickles, as he's known in the insight world, Jason Horne-Francis. So he has shown the SuperCoach world of what he has ability-wise and SuperCoach-wise, but he's only done it in bursts in the past. He's now into his 3rd year, where we usually see a pretty steep progression with fantasy and SuperCoach scoring, or into his 4th year, sorry. I think he's going to be a top 3 forward, potentially even be the best forward this year. Set and forget.
Yeah, I think he's pretty comfortably set and forget, to be honest. Sorry to North Melbourne fans. Squiddy, I'm sorry, mate. Jason Horne-Francis is that guy. And, he's pretty good. As much as we joke around with all the pickle stuff, he's a pretty good footy player.
He is.
I like... This is sort of a 50-50 thing. I like that he's come out and mentioned that his role this year is going to be inside mid and resting, not at half forward, at full forward. Really, as one of the deepest forwards when he rests. It's sort of 50-50. I like it because it means he's not going to spend as much time on the bench because he's going to have that rest at full forward. He's going to have opportunities to kick goals, score more SuperCoach points. But at the same time, he gets more touches at half forward and actually looks really good there. So when you think about it that way, it probably evens out. He's averaged at 99 last year. You reckon he cracks the 100 this year?
Yeah, I think he does.
I think so too. Set and forget.
Next on our list is the excitement machine from the Essendon Footy Club, Isaac Kako. He's an electric small forward, but we all know what it's like with small forwards in their first year. Incredibly inconsistent. The upside's there, but he could go for 80 one week and then another week could go 30, so it's going to be a frustrating ride.
Yeah, it always is with half forwards. It always is a bit of a frustrating ride. With the options in the forward line this year, he probably still is a value pick, though, just due to the fact that there isn't that many, guys you can pick and trust to make a bit of money. He will make money. It might take a little bit. He might start out real hot. It could be quick. We're never going to know until the season actually starts, but I still think he is a good value pick and one you could potentially play on field. And a guy we'll talk about later, Joe Berry, it's between one of them, whoever you start on field. With the flex in play this Supercoach season, most weeks one of them will drop out due to the fact that half forwards always score low. But you can afford to take that because they'll still make money. He's still a value pick to me.
For sure. Moving on, mate, and someone who's created a little bit of chatter in the Supercoach world this preseason is Neil Erasmus from the Fremantle Footy Club. So former top 10 pick, mind you, and has been the sub nearly an AFL record 9 times in 23 games.
Yeah.
Last year. He is an absolute accumulator of the ball, can play half forward, kicked a couple of goals in the Waffle Grand Final last year. Do you see him getting a regular gig? And does the injury to Nate Fyfe hurt or help him?
The injury to Fyfe absolutely helps him. It makes him a bit more opportunity. But at the same time, it might not. Just because they might want to just set in stone that midfield that they want. These guys are going to be pushing for a premiership this year. And, injecting Erasmus, look, it won't hinder them, but they might just want to run with guys that they know they can trust. Erasmus he's just too much of a sub risk. When we go back to that Waffle Grand Final series,
he was unbelievable.
167, 172, and 181 in that final series. Insane. But I just don't think that I don't think he's going to be permanently AFL ready.
No. So upsides there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next, mate, we move on to Thomas Lynch from the Richmond Footy Club. Yeah, it was only limited to 8 games across the last 2 years because of foot and hamstring injuries. For me, his best is likely behind him, especially with a very, very young Richmond side who is likely to struggle this year. And I feel like they're going to look for him a lot inside forward 50, which could help, but could hamper as well with the opposition playing off their men to be third man up against him. He is at a heavily discounted price. However, his age, his injury history, the likely struggles of the Tigers, I think there's better value elsewhere.
Yeah, I agree. His age and, just the injuries he rolls around with are not great. Personally, I really don't like it, to be honest. Like, yes, this is a guy who's averaged 94 2 seasons back, was Richmond's leading goal kicker. I can't trust it with injuries, and I just can't see the ball getting to him anymore.
No. And if it does, we can't. Well, can you really pick out any clean, efficient ball users going inside 50 for Richmond that are going to hit him lace out every time?
I would have said Liam Baker, but he's gone. So, probably not anymore. It's there's not much going on with Richmond this year. That this is another one of them rebuilding years, and Tom Lynch isn't a part of it. Let's be honest. He's on the way out. Yeah, I don't like it at all.
No. Well, he's in Campbell Chesser.
I really don't like it. Look, there is upside, absolutely. There is better options, absolutely. He could probably sneak it upsides there. But honestly, I don't think there is much upside in this Richmond team.
Nah. While we gather our thoughts about Tom Lynch being in Campbell Chesser's realm, we're going to listen to a hot guy from America talk about our Patreon.
Want to take your SuperCoach game to the next level? Inside Fantasy Sports are bringing you exclusive content all year round, such as weekly expert Q&As, team, trade, and captaincy advice, statistical deep dives, priority podcast questions, and tons more. So what are you waiting for? Get full access to the experts. Go to patreon.com/Insight Fantasy Sports and subscribe to Insight Unlimited today.
Yeah, he doesn't get paid enough. We say it every time.
Yeah, Absolutely. I agree.
But we're going to give Deadly a chance to get his voice back. It sounds like his balls have finally dropped. So we're going to move on. What's that?
I think we're good.
You good now?
Had some shit in the back of my throat. Couldn't get it out.
No good.
Oh,
mate,
audio listeners, I'm sorry.
The next person we're going to speak about is someone, we spoke about Caleb Daniel being bevoed hard last year. This guy probably got same level of being bevoed. And I'll tell you what, Bevo's got to be careful here because Tassie are coming into the comp soon, and if they don't play this bloke as a pure mid, they'll be at risk of losing him, and that's Riley Sanders, Deadly. Pick 6 of the 2023 AFL draft. He looks a stud. He averaged nearly 110 AFL fantasy points in his draft year. Just wasn't given a proper go last year. Pre-buy averaged 65, post-buy 59. What's Bevo thinking here? Is he going to play him or is he not?
I think he has to. He just has to.
I think he has to. Yeah.
He's going to lose him. You know, he's a North Launceston product. Tassie's coming in soon, and I can't imagine he'd be against going back there if he needs to. Yeah, this kid's he's special. He's really special. In those games in the VFL last year, he was taking the absolute piss. You know, he was 3 goals, 35 touch games every week, and it's just he's too good. Even in the practice match he played against Essendon last week, he was phenomenal. Looked great. They looked to get him the ball. I think out the midfield he has to play, and there has to be a spot for him. Can you trust Bevo?
I'm thinking he has to, or Bevo needs to gain the trust back with Sanders because he's doing everything right. We saw in that practice match he had 31 touches and 73% time in midfield. Well, CBA, sorry. So I'm not going to go as far to say potential keeper because Bevo's his coach. Land. I think he's got that upside though. I think there's value in Riley Sanders, though, especially with Treloar being out early.
He genuinely could land in all 5 of these categories. Don't forget it if the potential pays off and, looks like the guy. Potential keeper, same sort of thing. He's a value pick just if he plays and, actually scores. There's upside, but Bevo's the coach and Campbell Chesser, Bevo doesn't play him, so he could literally land anywhere. It's just, it's literally a lucky dip at this rate. Look, I'll probably lean, even though he's 339k, I'll probably lean value pick, to be honest. He will start at the start of the season, you'd think, in a good role. And
put him in.
Hopefully, Bevo just trusts the process and keeps him along.
Fingers crossed. We're going to talk about Luke Parker now, who's next on our list. Falling out of favour at Sydney. He averaged 90 or more than 97 points, SuperCoach points per game for 10 years prior to that, which would have been good enough for top 6 forward in any of those years. Age is a factor, yes. But if he gets consistent CBAs, even if it's at 40% CBAs, Deadly, he could be a smoky for top 6 if he gets that role.
Yeah, 100%, and that's just the way forwards are. It's even 40% CBAs will get led you in a potential keeper spot. Yeah, it just worries me how much half forward time he actually will play because it seems like they're very locked into a Sheasel, LDU, Tom Powell rotation with, Parker will take a few CBAs here and there, McCurcher will take a few.
Yeah.
It just worries me how much half forward he will play. Even though we know he can score well at half forward, he kicks a lot of goals, did it for the Swans back into last year and seasons prior. He probably still lands a potential keeper because he's going to get consistent game time. And yeah, there is still scoring ability in him.
Yeah. So where are we putting him?
I think he is potential keeper, yeah.
I think so too. Let's talk about a new Western Bulldog that's come in that people are very high on, and that's Sam Davidson from the Western Bulldogs. What can you tell me about him?
I think for good reason. People are raving about him. He looks to have, locked in a spot in this Western Bulldog side. We say locked in a spot, but anything could happen with Bevo. But this team's been screaming for a half-forward flanker forever. He's one of them that will come in, light a spark. Looks like he can play some wing too, played wing against Essendon. So, if he rotates between there at 113k, he's the perfect F8 in my eyes. And I can't see a world where, he doesn't get played week to week just in either one of those positions.
Mm-hmm.
For the Gill medalist, he's for Richmond in the VFL last year, which is the most promising player in the VFL. Comes to the Western Bulldogs, looking to play AFL, and I think he will. And I think he is a great value pick.
I think so too. Yep. Let's move on to someone who's returning from an ACL and has just been named in the Port Adelaide leadership group, and that's Sam Powell-Pepper, the high-pressure small. Is he a small forward? Because he's a brick shithouse. He's returning from an ACL. We've got a bit of a discount on his price. He's only less than 190k this year as a forward. What do you think? There could be value here, especially if he plays a bit of midfield.
Yeah, I just don't think he will play that midfield. Those that have those CBAs like he did in, a couple of years back. There is upside for sure. 180k sort of just, he'll just average 60, 65 around that area. There won't be much going on, to be honest. He's, as we said before, with half forwards. Obviously, this guy's in the first year. He's been around the block. He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But there still is inconsistencies there. And I just think there is better options for cheaper, personally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Upsides there?
Yeah, upsides there, but better options, meh.
Yeah. Isaac Ranken is next. So he got his chance through the midfield last year and he shined before injury and suspension really put a dent in his season. He averaged 107 SuperCoach points per game when he had only 30% CBAs last year. So you think if he maintains that, which I can't see any reason why Nix wouldn't continue with a bit of an X factor in Ranken going through the midfield and trying to generate some spark, and then his small forward status is probably one of the premier small forwards in the comp. Do you think he's got another gear to go?
Yeah, I do. I think there's obviously more midfield time to be had, only 30% CBAs mostly. So, if he bumps that up to 50, look out that there's hundreds there. He likes to kick goals. He gets involved in everything everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Nix would be silly not to, keep him in the exact same role, if not a slightly better one to what he had last year. He is fighting with Ben Keys for the greatest small forward ever. But in serious, this guy, if you're picking him, he's set and forget. I thought you'd enjoy that one.
Yeah, I don't. Ben Keys is a thorn in my side when it comes to bets, ladies and gentlemen. That's why that's come up. Well, where are you putting Ranken?
If you're picking him, he's set and forget, and I think it's for good reason.
Is Ben Keys in this list?
No.
For good reason. Moving on. An Adelaide teammate who is comfortably better than Ben Keys. He probably isn't. But anyway, Dan Curtin. So he's a former number 8 pick who was drafted as a defender but has been used, as a forward and even through the midfield. So he's a genuine 3-level player. I think going by practice matches, he's probably going to play a bit of high half forward, which could be value for SuperCoach, especially only priced at 150k.
Yep.
If he's named in round 1, he's a sneaky option at that price.
Yeah, 100%. I see a lot of people got, completely turned off him when they saw he was going to play forward. Look, he's so versatile that he can play anywhere. And he's 197 centimeters. He can literally play anywhere on the park. He can still play halfback at that size. It's pretty great. In the 3 games that he played, he played 3 full games. The rest was sub-affected last year. In those 3 full games, he played forward, and he averaged near on, I think it was 65 to 70 in that range.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good value. In the exact same role he's going to play, I'll take that. And, there is a sneaky chance he could get some CBAs here and there. Could go back to the back line at any time if an injury happens and they need someone. I think he still is value at 158k personally.
Yeah, I think he is. Yep. The next player on our list, Deadly, is Joe Berry from the Port Adelaide Footy Club. Little do people know, but he was an All-Australian small forward last year. So he knows where to find the sticks, and he's regarded as one of the best small forwards at that age level in Australia. So coming into a Port Adelaide team that probably lacks a little bit of craft up forward with their small forwards. What they were running with Darcy Byrne-Jones for a lot of last year as their small forward. And Willie Rioli. Willie Rioli's good, but yeah. But if you're bringing in an All-Australian small forward who's going to play high half forward, may even get a chance on a wing, I think there's huge upside here at someone that's 140K.
Yeah, 100%. This kid's a pure talent. He's it's great that he got an opportunity so early on, because we didn't think he might not play this year. But with the injuries that Port have had already in this preseason, he's been given an opportunity just to even play in this intra-club games, and he's looked bloody great, to be honest with you. And we'll see him. We're recording this just before the AFL, the Port Adelaide match, so we'll see how he goes there. But yeah, this kid's special, and 140K seems a bit of an outrage, to be honest. It's the same realm for Kako. There will be low scores, there will be high scores, but you can pick him confidently, knowing that he will make money.
That's right. Next on our list, mate, Max Hall from the St Kilda Footy Club, a young midfielder, even high half forward, taken in the mid-season draft last year from the Box Hill Hawks, has shown an ability to score well in fantasy. I don't have his numbers in front of me, but I know they were quite good at VFL level.
Yeah.
Bit older, 22 years of age, but fit. He's got some pre-seasons in him, not just at AFL level, but at VFL level as well. With the injury concerns at St Kilda, big chance to start round one.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why he's owned so much. He was actually a lot higher owned before all these St Kilda injuries came up. I still don't think personally he gets a spot, and if he does, it'll be very sub-affected. I really don't like it, unless you can't really use him as a loop, because there is cheaper guys out there that will be better loop options. I really don't like this pick, to be honest. We've got 6 guys in the value pick. I mean, Riley Sanders isn't that cheap, but we've got 5 guys there that are quite cheap, can be used, and will be better than Max Hall making money wise. I don't see the appeal personally.
Spot on. Upsides there, or are we going Campbell Chester?
I'm going Campbell Chester.
Campbell Chester has got some company.
I don't think
you know what else we've got going on, Deadly? We've got the SuperCoach World Cup, mate. If you think you've got what it takes to compete against other like-minded SuperCoach talents in the world, then this is for you. At just $25, you can earn yourself entry into the SuperCoach World Cup. NRL, AFL, BBL, NBL. You don't have to finish top of each sport, but if you think you've got what it takes to be consistent across all 4 sports and finish up near the top in each sport, then you will have a chance to win the title as Australia, or not just Australia, the world's best SuperCoach player. Mitch, coach of Twitch at Flinch, won it last year, and he's back to go back-to-back. So, again, if you think you've got what it takes, click on the description or the link in the description below and register your details to enter. Now, there's some question marks around this next guy, Deadly.
Yeah.
Not bad ones, though.
No, not at all.
Luke Jackson, mate. So we've seen the injury to Sean Darcy, and that's going to keep him out for a little while. During the practice match, all within about 10 minutes, he played deep forward, ruck, and midfield.
Yeah.
Without Sean Darcy, he averaged 109 SuperCoach points per game. In 2023, without Sean Darcy, he averaged 118 SuperCoach points per game. But when he was the second ruck, he only averaged 81 SuperCoach points per game.
Yeah. Enter Liam Reedy.
That's right.
Has fully killed all Jackson appeal. Yeah, this is brought up in the Rucks pod. Liam Reedy, he's going to be that ruckman that replaces Sean Darcy when he's injured. They burnt out Jackson when they used him in the ruck last year, and it really looks like that they've decided that he's not the one. We want to keep him up forward and use him as a backup ruck. I'll tell you what, that midfield time really surprised me. I saw the rumors that he might play some mid. Didn't believe him, but
then he did.
Then the practice match came along, and here's Luke Jackson in a CBA, and I'm thinking, here we go. What's this all about? But no, I don't think that's a full time thing. I think he's going to play as a deep forward, high centre forward.
Yep.
He probably drops in value, to be honest. I don't think there's much of a pick. But hey, let's say Liam Reedy and Sean Darcy are both injured.
Mm-hmm.
Upside plus, get him in.
For sure.
Yeah, there is upside, but
there is upside.
Meh.
Next, we've got Bendigo's own and fan of the show, Archer Day-Wicks. He's quite highly owned, mate, being a rookie pick at Essendon. Is it purely from a loophole point of view, being as cheap as what he is and being a mid-forward?
I think, yeah, it is purely as a loophole, which I said it last night on the pod I did on the footy mailbag. I don't like picking loops, especially now with the opening round sort of stuff. There's buys in round 2. You're going to have guys in round 2 who aren't going to play. And that goes without saying, all the injuries that could happen so early on in the season. And if you already picked enough, you're stuck. You're in trouble. You can't trade up with that guy very easily. And, you know, it happened last year with most people with Zach Reid, where he got injured in round 1. Most people were stuck with him, had to keep him the rest of the season. I'd rather have that happen and make use of, Zach Reid than pick Archer Day-Wicks at 99K and, be stuck with enough who you can't trade up from. But at the same time, shout out Archer Day-Wicks. That's a legend of a bloke right there.
Yeah. And I know you're watching Arch. You should be captain of the Essendon Footy Club within 4 or 5 weeks, mate. So just keep with it, mate. Blake Dons.
I feel bad for putting him in Campbell Chester, but
you will not put him in. No, you're not putting him in Campbell Chester.
Where
There's
am I
upside
putting him?
there. Upside.
All right, Archer Day-Wicks. There is upside, 100% in future seasons, but right now he should be in Campbell Chester. Yeah. But we'll move on.
There you go, Arch. I'm never putting you next to Campbell Chester, mate. Don't worry about that. Oh, get back.
Fine.
All right. Next, we've got Conor Stone, mate. Talk to me about Conor Stone.
Yeah, Conor Stone, he played today. I went to see the GWS Sydney practice match up at Trinway Oval. He's started out really, really average, to be honest with you. But that second half, he really, really picked it up and looked really impressive. I think there is probably a spot in that GWS backline for him that's probably solidified now.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is a guy we're going to be able to pick for value, 100%. He's going to make value. He's basically a like-for-like swap from Harry Perryman, maybe not skill-wise, but he's taken the role. And he's going to do well in the role. And I'm saying the funny story from today. I was sat on the pocket in, watching the game from there, doing notes, whatever. And the ball comes into the area. Conor Stone comes across, picks the ball up, and, tries to just send it downfield, just get it away from the pack because there's about a huge pack of 12 guys. Just boots the ball, shanks it. It goes about 30 meters out of bounds and just screams out, "Have it!" When he gets it, goes, "Have it!" and runs off. It's the funniest thing I've seen up close. And just for that, he's in my team and I'm picking him.
Oh.
But no, in all seriousness,
vibes.
He's a great F7.
Yep. It's funny that we're talking about a Conor Stone being a nice F7 option when he was drafted pick 15 in the 2020 draft and has only played 13 games.
Yeah, it's weird how that goes. I mean, last year we picked Alex Sexton, who was 29 years old, playing off halfback. So it's a weird game, AFL, and that's why it's great, isn't it?
Absolutely. So is he value or is he?
No, he's value for sure. I think, after today, he's probably got his spot locked in for now. And I think he's pretty safe in value.
This next player, mate, is someone who I genuinely have no idea how he's going to score. And that's Shai Bolton from the Fremantle Footy Club. So he's an absolute star in real life. He knows where the goals are. He can take the game on. He's exciting. He's fun to watch. He's been incredibly frustrating over the past 12 months from a Supercoach point of view. But is he going to get mid-time? We haven't seen it yet, and he hasn't really played much of a midfield role in any match simulations that Fremantle have had. Fremantle are crying for a crafty half forward of his ability. So is he going to get locked into there? Or is he going to play like an Isaac Ranken type of role? Like, there's so many questions that, unfortunately, I don't have the answers for now. So where do you see him fitting?
I think he probably loses value.
Okay.
If you go back and look at his season last year for Richmond, he actually had a disgusting amount of CBAs. It was upwards of 75, 80 most games.
Yeah.
There was a couple of games where he was in every CBA. It just won't happen as much at Freo. They've already got a very set in stone midfield. It'll probably drop back to the Isaac Ranken sort of 30% CBA sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he has the scoring ability as Ranken, but God, he's probably have a game of 160 and a game of 12. It's just there's upside. There's better options out there. I don't want to pick a guy who I don't even know what he's going to score. Nah.
No, he's probably one of the hardest blokes to read here.
Yeah, I'd rather get a consistent scorer or just someone who, won't have the ability to score 12 at 440K or whatever he is.
Yep, spot on. Jack Martin is our next player, mate. And this guy's really interesting. He's had a really shit run with injuries. Like, let's not sugarcoat that.
Shocking.
But
horrible.
If you look past the last couple of years, there was a stretch where he was priced at mid 500K in Supercoach. There were 4 years in a row where he averaged over 80. Yep. Could the move to Geelong bring him back to his best?
I probably would have said yes, because Geelong, as we know, love to bring these older guys in and make them great again. But he's already injured. He hasn't trained in a while, and there is a spot locked in there for him when he's fit and ready in Gary Rowan's old role. I can't trust him with his injuries, to be honest. There is upside there. There is money to be made. We've got a bunch of other guys you can pick. I think Jack Martin's probably not one anymore that I'm too interested in.
For sure. Next, mate, Devin Robertson from the Brisbane Lions Footy Club. Probably one of the hard luck stories, I guess, of the AFL so far. Yeah. This kid's got so much ability, but is a victim of the amount of depth that Brisbane have. So he's a gun from the junior underages, averaged 114 in the VFL in 2023, averaged 98 Supercoach points per game in 2024. But he struggled to get a game previously, and now there's another Ashcroft in the side.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I really want to see him play because I think the kid's a gun, but there's not really much going in his favour. I'm surprised that he didn't move to West Coast at the end of last year.
Yeah.
If it's the same again this year, I feel like he's going back to Perth and playing there.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm actually really surprised he didn't go back. It's a real hard luck story, isn't it? He is a kid with a lot of ability. He played, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying this, I think he only played one game last year. And he got given probably the toughest task in AFL football in tagging Caleb Sarong. Mm-hmm. And Caleb Sarong made him look like a under 14s player, let's be honest.
Yep.
And from there, he's never seen in the AFL yet since.
Nope.
So, annoyingly, Devin Robertson goes into Campbell Chesser. We could be having this conversation next year, and he's a perfect value pick at West Coast, which, I sort of hope happens. But for right now, he lands in there just because there's no game time available for him.
No, there's not.
Go kill it in the VFL, son.
Yep. Matias Philipou is next. But before we talk about Matias, join our Unlimited League, 356-460. I repeat, 356-460. Almost 800 people in our Unlimited League at the moment. Let's get that to 1,000 before the season starts. It's free to join. And if you get the top score, you win a prize pack thanks to the guys at the Standard Squeeze who have been our sponsors since day one. Use the promo code IFS15 to get yourself 15% off your order in store today. All right, our next player that we're going to discuss, mate, is Matias Philipou. So I've done some digging, mate, and he averaged 95 Supercoach points from the 4 games where he played majority midfield last year. He's a massive scorer when we see him in the guts. Unfortunately, he has the injury to the femur, the fractured femur, which, mind you, would be considerably painful.
Yeah.
But how good? Let's use the glass half full approach. How good is it that we could have a potential keeper who's going to come into our teams around buy rounds at a heavily discounted price. You could effectively upgrade a Elijah Hewett into Matias Philipou if he's gone straight back into the midfield
for almost the same amount of money.
It could be even less.
I am bloody keen to have this bloke in my Supercoach team. I was actually annoyed that I didn't get him towards the back end of last year. But it sort of worked in my favour because he got sick and missed a whole bunch of time. And he's had a pretty wretched run, even though he's got so much talent and there is midfield time available for him at the Saints. He's going to be in there when he comes back. Absolutely, I want him. For right now, unfortunately, you can't start with him just because of that fever injury. Which rest up, King. Go well when you come back. But yeah, for right now, he has to lean in Campbell Chester, mate. It's just because you can't pick him. It's just how it is.
You can't. And I'm sure Campbell Chester would be stoked if he's got a name like Matias Philipou.
Oh, look, he's got an All-Australian, a near-on rising star, Devin Robertson, who's going to be great. Campbell Chester's thrilled. He's had a good run today.
He's going to have his All-Australian team before long. Dylan Moore is our next player. So locked into his high half-forward role. He averaged pre-buy 93 last year, but post-buy he averaged 105 Supercoach points per game. That's easily enough to make him in the top 3 or 4 for forwards in Supercoach, even without CBAs. How early are you looking to get Dylan Moore in? Is he someone you're looking at starting, or is he someone that you think round 4 bye, let's get a bit of a gauge as to how he's going and how the forward line at Hawthorn is going to work without the likes of Lewis and Cal Shadir to start with?
Yeah, for me personally, I'm not starting with him. I can see the appeal. He looked great in the practice match. Even though his scoring wasn't so crash hot, he still looked like he was doing Dylan Moore things. Had a lot of CBAs as well. Look, he's a guy I'm going to want at some point this season pretty quickly. Definitely post-buy. Yeah, I can't see a world where he drops out of at least the top 5 forwards. He's got a brilliant role for a forward only, realistically. And if you're starting with him, fair enough. I can't argue against it. He's set and forget.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Mate, the last player on our list of 25 is Liam Baker from not Richmond. So for those of you that are watching on YouTube, he does have a Richmond jumper on, but he's at West Coast. And listening to Minnie McWalter last week and also Liam Baker himself on SEN last week, he's locked into that half-back role and Minnie wants him there full-time for the season. So if he was going to be playing half-forward, nah, not for me. But a half-back role on a team that's going to struggle with senior experience as a senior premiership player at Richmond, this could be a forward smoky for us, mate, at 440K.
100%. Yeah, as long as Jeremy McGovern doesn't steal all his kick-ins, there's upside at extreme plus. He probably is close to top 6. If not, he's probably locked in there in that role. And if he's not going to get moved, he's not going to play all these other positions. There is so much upside in playing a half-back for the West Coast Eagles, and his ability. It's going to work out for them and for our Supercoach teams. He's probably not one to start with. I would like to see how it all plays out when it comes to this West Coast team, how they're structuring, what their game style is as well. Comes into play with halfbacks. But yeah, he might be one you get later on. Just sort of if he's not that high owned, a bit of a pod to jump on before other people do, and I think it pretty safely lands him in potential keeper, mate.
Yep, for sure. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. There are our 25 forwards that have been selected in your teams so far in this year's AFL SuperCoach season. We've got Jack Macrae, Jason Horne-Francis, Isaac Ranken, and Dylan Moore as the set and forgets. Our potential keepers, Caleb Daniel, Bailey Smith, Luke Parker, and Liam Baker. Value picks, Elijah Hewett, Isaac Kako, Riley Sanders, Sam Davidson, Dan Curtin, Joe Berry, and Conor Stone, the vibes man himself. Upside, players include Neil Erasmus, Sam Powell-Pepper, Luke Jackson, Archer, Day-Wicks, future legend of the Essendon Footy Club, Shai Bolton, and Jack Martin. And Campbell Chesser has Tom Lynch, Max Hall, Devin Robertson, and Matias Philipou in his category. How do you like it?
I think it's bloody perfect, mate, except for that. But we won't disrespect Arch. We'll leave him there. But Campbell Chesser has some company today, mate. He's done well for himself. Again, he had Tom Lynch in the midfield, and now he's got some All Australians in there. He's got some future talents.
Mm-hmm.
He's loving it. This list is pretty well bang on to what I'd say, and I think we agree on most of them.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us for our tier list. We've already got our defensive, our midfield, our rucks, and now the forwards are out for you to view on YouTube and all good audio platforms. Drop us a 5-star review if you're listening to us on audio, or the thumbs up if you're watching us on YouTube. Next week is our last week before the real stuff starts, round 0. So we're going to get some teams out there, some Supercoach teams for you to see. Deadly's team is going to be out there for you to analyse and pick apart, if you will. Squiddy will be back to give us his team. Hurls will also be around. Nerds for Life, we know what sort of work he does in the community. And our very own Insight Doctor, he's got something cooking for you guys at home that you're not going to want to miss. Deadly, thanks for your time today, mate.
Pleasure as always, mate.
Can't wait. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. Take care.